Alright, what is this book? Hi everyone, this is my second video. I'm reading chapter 6 of Dealing with Dragons by Patricia Reed. Let's see, what is stolen it? I thought the dragons let wizards into the caves of fire and night, Simran objected. Why would Zeminar be poking through history books looking for information if he can just go and look at them whenever he wants? We don't let the wizards visit the caves whenever they want, Kazul said. If we did, they'd be running in and out all the time and nobody would be able to breathe without sneezing, sorry. No, they're limited to certain days and times, and if they want to visit the caves of fire and night otherwise, they have to use one of the entrances we don't control. Few of them try. The other ways of getting into the caves are very dangerous, even for wizards. Maybe they're looking for an easier way in. Gazelle did not seem to be paying much attention. She thought for a moment, then turned toward the cave mouth. Going to see Garim. Roxime said a book had been stolen from her library, and I want to know which one. I'll be back in a few hours. I think I'll go look at the Historia Dracorum again while you're gone, Simran said thoughtfully. If there is something useful in it about the caves of fire and night, maybe I can find it, now that I know what I'm looking for. It's turned into like a mystery. I love it. Simran spent the rest of the afternoon carefully translating the chapter that talked about the caves. She was disappointed to find that there was very little about the caves themselves, though what was there was interesting. The book told how the dragons had discovered the back way into the caves and described some of the things they had found in them. Caverns full of blue and green fire, pools of liquid that would cast a cloud of darkness for 20 miles around if you poured 3 drops on the ground. Walls made of crystal that multiplied every sound 1,000-fold. Rocks that spurted fire when they were broken. Most of the rest of the chapter was about Collinstone and how it was taken out of the caves by the first king of the dragons. Kazul returned just before dinner, and she and Simran compared notes. Simran told Kazul what she had learned from the chapter of the Caves of Fire and Night, and then Kazul explained what she had learned from Garim. The stolen book was The Kings of the Dragons, and the entire first section was about Collinstone and the Caves of Fire and Night, Kazul said, and only a wizard could have gotten past the spells and safeguards Garim puts on our library. I think that settles it. The wizards are definitely collecting information about the Caves of Fire and Night. Then why do they keep looking at books of dragon history? Simran asked. It seems like a roundabout way of finding out whatever it is they want to know. There isn't any other way to do it, Kazul said. Nobody but dragons has ever had much to do with the caves, and no one has written much about them except in dragon histories. Even the wizards weren't particularly interested in them until a few years ago, except as a reliable route into the enchanted forest. I would love to see a map, by the way, like a drawing of where all these places are relative to one another. But from what I've been reading in the Historia Dracorum, the caves sound fascinating, Simran said. You mean to say no one has ever written anything about the Caves of Fire and Night except dragons? Kazul stopped suddenly and her eyes narrowed. No, that's not right. There was a rather rumpled scholar who talked his way into the caves a century or so back, and after he left he wrote an extremely dry book about what he found there. I'd forgotten about him. Do you have a copy? Simran asked hopefully. No, Kazul said, but I don't think the Society of Wizards does either. There weren't very many of them printed, and a lot of those were lost in a flood a few years later. Some hero or other shoved a giant into a lake to drown him. The silly clunch didn't realize that if you put something that big into the lake, the water would have to go somewhere. Oh, God. Well, that doesn't do us much good, Simran said. It's nice that the Society of Wizards doesn't have a copy of that book, but if we can't get a hold of one either? I didn't say that, Kazul said. I don't have a copy myself, but I know who does. Who? Simran said impatiently. Morwen. I'm afraid you're not going to be able to work on that fireproofing spell of yours tomorrow. We're going to take a trip to the enchanted forest instead. Oh my God! Oh, I get to find out what's in the enchanted forest. That's so exciting. It's so exciting.